City lights blink, but they don't speak. Empty wallets, dreams looking weak. Concrete jungle where love takes a seat. Violence whispers, struggles on repeat. This is the life we know. The highs, the lows, the show. Hearts are heavy, pockets are light. Love's a candle.
Yeah, how's it going today, man?
What's going on, Ed?
Ain't nothing much. I know you wanted to comment about how we met and everything, and so you can go ahead and tell me how you met.
We had and thank you for this opportunity too, by the way. We had a friend in common by the name of Pablo, and Pablo was a hard love. He was a hard love, knucklehead hard love.
Yeah.
But we love him.
Right.
We love Pablo, man. I love Pablo. Pablo, if you watch these, which I hope you are, you should be. What's up, my brother? Never forgot you. Good man. Hard worker, too. I've been on a mission for about 25 years talking to people. And when it comes from me, it's a little bit different. And I'll explain the reason why. I refer to myself as an Anglo. I don't refer to myself as white. Technically, I'm not white. This is white. I'm more kind of pink, to be quite frank with you. And I started going around to people probably around 24, 25. I was doing trackside ministry, hanging out with people and the AMA Superbike circuit. So you have teams like Suzuki, Yamaha, Triumph, Honda. You have all these big name companies, Kawasaki and corporations. And then we belong to what was called CCS, which is called Championship Cup Series. Kind of like SCCA, Sports Car Club of America, SCCA is to like IMSA and open wheel cars. They're kind of the club guys. I was a club guy. Knee down on the ground, fast, right? Back in the day, I used to say that I've driven fast cars, been 200 mile an hour on a super bike on fast motorcycles, fast cars, fast bikes, and faster women. Back in my younger days. Don't follow that. It's not good. Get you in trouble. But we met because of a topic called one race. And I had come to Ed and I said, man, let me ask you a question, man. My question is very simple, but it's misleading. On this whole big world that we all share together, how many different races are there? And Ed, instantly, most people struggle with it. They go, I don't know, like 50, I don't know, 150. And Ed just went, man, there's one. And he wrote a thesis for school, for college. And it was the human race, one race. And he showed it to me, he dug it out of his toolbox, and it's got grease on it, it wasn't pretty, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a look at it, right? I'm a germaphobe. Okay, Ed, dusting it off. Sure enough, it was his thesis, one race, and I would get to ask people, coming from me, it kind of strikes a different nerve, especially if you go to a young brother or a young blood out on the street. In fact, a 65-year-old man the other day was at the boat ramp. And I said, hey man, what you catching, crappie? And he said, yeah, catching crappie, and going out catching bluegill. Started the conversation, asked him, and I said, how many? And he's like, oh man, it's gotta be $150. And we're trained to divide each other from the time that we're kids. And I said, the first time I learned that I was what's classified as white, I told Ed I thought I was going to be in a race. When I raised my hand in first grade, Prine Elementary, and if any of you know Prine in Miami, I in the 70s was a minority. There wasn't a whole lot of me in Prine. That was during the Mario boat lifts. So you had a lot of Jamaicans, you had a lot of Haitians, and you had a lot of Cubans that were coming for freedom to America. And in that, I had to pick a team. It said to pick your race. Well, you're in first grade, you don't see people as a race. In first grade, I literally, Ed, I thought we were going to have a race and I had to pick what color team I was on.
Right.
So they gave me 4 options back in the day. They gave me team white, team black. I didn't know what phonetic spelling as a child. Hispanic. So I was going, I didn't know what Hispanic was.
Right.
And I sure didn't know what Asian meant, Asian. So I'm looking at 4 different teams that I'm going to be on, and I'm nervous now. Now I got the nerves, the gut nerves. I'm going, and everybody else is filling their stuff in. Everybody knows what race they are. I didn't know what race I was. So I raised my hand, and my teacher come over, and this is the first time I learned I was white in the public school system, how they divide us.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, young people, I'm telling you straight up, if you're listening to his podcast, if you're listening to what he's telling you on his YouTube channel and the stories that he's telling you, listen when I tell you, we are trained for division. I raised my hand, the teacher come over to me, and I said, mom's name, right? First day of school. You put down mom's name, your address, and you don't really know how to write that good, right? So they kind of make you bubble things. Remember the old bubble days?
Mm-hmm.
So teachers filled out your name, you got to bubble things. So I had to bubble in my team. She come over and I said, I don't know what team I'm going to be on today for the race. Naivety and innocence at its purest, right? And she slapped me on the shoulder. I'll never forget it. She says, she laughed and chuckled. I think she was Asian. I think she was an Asian teacher back in the day. And she goes, and she laughed. She said, you're white. I learned then that I was separate and different and that I was white. So thank you to the public school system. Ed and I did a video on this on my YouTube channel where we kind of did a mock interview. Pretended we didn't know each other. It's pretty cool. Maybe Ed and your producer put a link to it. Stone Solid Productions, just a quick plug. And when I ran for county commission in the county we live in, most people don't know that the insurance companies around your Martin Luther King areas, they won't invest in those areas. It's called your red line district. Do you know about these? Okay. So if an insurance company won't insure the houses, that means everybody's a low-income area. Throat cancer, so I got a drink. And that's the reason why I talk like I'm funny, so I suffer from throat cancer. Thanks radiation scarring, so it makes my throat kind of sound bad. I can't talk too much.
That's no problem.
But in your Martin Luther King areas, in your segregated areas, they're not segregated because folk want to live separate. They're not separate because people just go, we just want to be around each other. There's a line that's drawn that the insurance company says, we're not going to insure these houses because they don't have air conditioning. They don't have central heat or central air conditioning. So what they do is they say this is a non-marketable area. Now, how many of you guys know that? Most white people don't know that. So education in and of itself is educate yourself. So division is greater than what we know. Not only are we not inducted, what's the word I'm looking for? I won't use fancy words that I don't know, fair enough.
Right.
But we are trained from the time that we're young, that we're separate. Then when it comes time where we get credit and maybe can buy a house, or maybe can't buy a house because you have been separated here and you didn't open up a daggum book and read and educate your heart and educate your mind, because God wants you to become educated. He wants you to become knowledgeable. He didn't set everybody free. He didn't make everybody escape in that exodus and to free their minds and to free their spirits and to free themselves and to die on a cross and to give us love. It went way beyond that.
Right.
But if you're not educated and you're not reading and you're not looking at things called House bills, House of Representatives is called HR bills, why these things take place, why they are the standard, it goes bigger and beyond just this.
Right.
It goes bigger and beyond color. It goes bigger and beyond color.
Now, when you speak of education, what is it that you do?
I'm a maintenance man. I'm a maintenance man that over-engineers, overthinks things, and overbuilds things. So,
Right. Now, when it comes to the homeless, have you ever been homeless, been on the verge of being homeless, or have you ever dealt with the homeless?
So, I meet a lot of homeless working out for the city that I work in. When I was in my 20s, the reason why that I think I take a heartfelt approach, like I add extra ice. Right? We pat each other on the back, right? Don't do it for that. Do it because that guy needs something or that lady needs something. That's why you do it. Nobody sees, the people that I work with, they don't see me doing it.
Right.
And who cares? What matters is that man, Leonard. Never forget Leonard, nicest guy. There was graffiti. And I'll answer that. Yes, I've been homeless. My family doesn't even know that I was. Leonard, I'll come back to Leonard full circle. So remind me of Leonard in case I forget.
Okay.
Chemotherapy, your quick term memory doesn't always register. Plus it's called getting old. I'm 54 years old.
Right.
Fair enough. I didn't tell anybody about my home life. My friends, I was a business owner. I want you to think about this. My father put my name on our business at the age of 16. So here I am, I'm a business owner, right? Paying the property taxes are in my name since the age of 16. I don't even think that's legal now. I think you gotta be 18.
Mm-hmm.
Department of Revenue, I'm paying the Department of Revenue taxes. At the age of 20, I lived out of my Camaro. There's a place south of where we live called Highway Park. And I ran around Highway Park. And Highway Park is rough. A lot of people don't know. I met my first wife. She's referred to as a red bone. A Mexican lady now. My first son's mother. Divorce. I understand brokenness.
How did you become homeless?
I had to escape what was happening at my home. So what I did is I would brush my teeth, and I met people who would work at Subway. I became friends with them. You become friends with people for survival, and it's God appointed, by the way. He wants us to be friendly to each other.
Right.
But unfortunately, we humans sometimes we do it because we want something, right? Because we're trained again to consume.
Mm-hmm.
Not just cars, cellular phones, things, right? We're taught, again, to consume each other. But I learned as a survival trait that if I was friendly to the lady at Subway, she'd go, if you mop for me tonight, I'll make you a foot-long sandwich. Wow. I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
I got it done. Cool. And they stayed there till about 3, 4 in the morning. So you could kind of fall asleep out front in your car, brush your teeth in the sink. And the first time I learned that my friend was full of crap, I was living in a crack house. My family doesn't know this at all. I wasn't doing drugs. I wouldn't do drugs. Never did drugs. Smoked weed. I have smoked weed. I liked smoking weed. It was pretty fun. But my friend Jacob, I won't mention his last name, was a big, strong guy. And I used Jacob for protection. He was a big dude. And their family would rent out their mobile home trailer is what they lived in. Not that you tow behind, that's stationary. And inside was a small little stove, and they always cooked fried chicken on it. Oh my God, and the smell, man, when you were hungry, chicken, grease. Let me tell you something, there was so much grease on that stove, it should have burned the place down. But I went by and I'd see, hey, who's that on that couch? And Jacob would tell me, well, that's my cousin. I'm like, all right, I'm not dumb, right? I've always kind of been a smart guy, book smart. Well, I come by one time and there's somebody as white as me sitting there. And I was like, who's that? that's my cousin. I was like, come on now, this ain't your cousin. And I realized quickly that this was a crack house, so people would buy drugs from the family and they would crash out on the couch. But I'll tell you about God. And I'd sleep in my car outside on his property. And he had a bed. He had 2 twin beds. And if you ever got in a fight, let me tell you something. I didn't mind getting my butt kicked. I never got my butt kicked, though. But I would go get Jacob. And I would tell Jacob, this man right here wants to fight. Just beat my back. I said, all I want you to do is pick me up and put me in my car and take me home if I get my butt kicked. So I hung out with Sam, Puerto Rican guy. Jacob, he was a dark-colored gentleman, because I don't like using the word black. I hate it. And then Tony was this like long-haired heavy metal guy. We were in Motley Crue as Motley Crue can get. If you don't know what Motley Crue is, knowledge, look it up. It just isn't a rock metal band. Okay? It's not Motley Crue. We were a Motley Crue that shouldn't have been hanging out together in a small little redneck town. And even saying redneck, man, take that out of your vocabulary. I said that wrong. Country boy town. How's that? A country town. Old-timey country town. 2 stoplights. And we hung tight. You couldn't separate us, man. If one was in trouble, cops would chase my boys one night. If you know a Camaro, the one I was living out of, there ain't no room in it. And I rocked the back of the Camaro. I threw one of them being chased by a cop because he laughed at a cop. The cop fell on a barbed wire fence and landed on his face. And he went, ha ha ha. Now fast forward life. So yes, I've been homeless. My family never knew about this. My dad never would have talked to me if he knew I was staying and living in a crack house.
How did it make you feel? How did being homeless make you feel?
Free. That's crazy to answer that, man, as a raw, heartfelt answer. I understand homeless people when I see them because I'm like, guy's got nothing. He's got everything to worry about at night and at day. Harassed by the cops. Been there. Believe me, I remember the big mustache days back in the 80s, okay? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I know, I've been there. You're hanging out with a certain crew, those cops come after you. But I was smart. I learned to say, yes, sir. Get me out of trouble, right? I needed something back in return. Didn't have money. I needed to be able to get out of that trouble. So I learned how to say, yes, sir. No, sir. Here's my information, sir. Everything's legit. My registration's legit. Come on, y'all. Quit driving around with a... You're gonna not get pulled over by cops. Fix that tail light. Have your registration up. Get your insurance. And roll down the window, man. Yes, sir. It doesn't mean that you're breaking yourself and you're kowtowing. It's just get out of the situation alive. Sometimes these cops these days, even though they've got a camera on, they're knuckleheading. You know, they're caught these days on what they're doing. That's not just cops. That's also silly people in the stores. People are just bizarre these days. I got sidetracked off the homeless question.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to talk to you a little bit about friendship, you know. Friendship is not just sitting to see who can get what from somebody. Friendship is actually about bonding with somebody and having somebody else's welfare and well-being in your heart for them. You know, it's not about what you can gain, what you can get, who you can manipulate. That's not true friendship. If you got to do all that, then you need somebody else. But friendship means that when you're down, when you're out, you call in and check and making sure the person okay. Even if you have some kind of feeling about how they day might be going. Sometimes it's just better to go ahead and call and find out than to sit back and do nothing because maybe that friend needs you to pick them up. So, you know, why don't you all try practicing being friends with each other? Know the true meaning of friendship. It is what true meaning of friendship is, like I said, it's just like family. It's supposed to be like family. You know, everybody being there together for each other, helping each other instead of trying to get over on everybody. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. And please, do this for me. If you can't find a reason to be friends with somebody, try being friends with yourself first. And then you'll see how much better it'll work. Because if you care about yourself, it don't hurt to care about nobody else. Stop manipulating. Stop trying to get over. and just start helping each other out, man, because that's what it's about. Because if you don't, guess what? We're going to be like everybody else say, what they say, we're like cockroaches in a barrel. Soon we see one person going up, we trying to pull them down to get there ourselves. Why not everybody join together, build something together, everybody can get out of it and don't have to worry about being in that same damn box. But until then, keep your thoughts on the other side. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Hope you enjoy the videos. Keep on supporting us, and we'll make whatever known. That we'll make anything known to you that's supposed to be known, and we'll try to get you the truth and everything. But remember, what these people talk about, that's their truths, and this is just our opinion. Yeah, I'll let you later.
Why does love feel like a war? Why do dreams knock but not the